With the round of 8 matches of the King of the Beta out of the way, that means it is time for the semifinals. Day 9 TV and Team Liquid together present the King of the Beta tournament that will be broadcast finals live from the Heart of the Swarm launch party on March 11th. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our kind semi-finalists down in the bottom left corner, having trounced Idra 2-1 with some solid mech play. It is Western Wolves Morrow. Up in the top right-hand corner, narrowly defeating White Raw in one of the craziest Zerg vs. Protoss series ever, excluding TLO vs. Grubby, also from the King of the Beta. It is the other semi-finalist in the orange trunks, ROOTCatZ. Now, both these two players have a little bit of a different historical background in the beta. Both of them have been playing in the beta for quite some time, but as we talked a little bit about in the round of 8 matches, Morrow is well known for being the probably the most prolific beta player since the beta came out, has played hundreds and hundreds of games upon the very day of release of the beta. KatZ, on the other hand, is a little bit more of the I guess I would say not as early a prolific streamer, yet still awesome! KatZ has been doing lots of the very fast multiple hatches before pool against Protoss. We saw him showcase very fast burrow plays to exploit the fact that Protoss does not have early detection. I'm really hoping to see KatZ's kookiness pan out here. Because really, in terms of styles, it's the stable, slow mech of Morrow up against the generally kooky craziness of KatZ. So KatZ is all... Oh, please don't cancel that. Yes! Yes! Oh, excellent. KatZ we're seeing doing something that is generally not done ever. Going for pool and then extractor against Terran. Sure, hatch first is a standard play. Maybe Startail Life is popularizing a little bit of the 10 pool action, but we don't really see this kind of play at all. Morrow, on the other hand, doing everything very, very standard. 1 barracks, early expand. Nothing really out of the ordinary there, just kind of the typical play. It's solid in Wings of Liberty, solid 2 now here in Heart of the Swarm. There is the option to begin going Widow Mines in addition to the Hellions, but we will likely not see the Hellion Banshee play out of Morrow, especially given this sort of odd formation that we're seeing up in the main base of KatZ. Generally, you go Hellion Banshee to try to contain the opponent, to exploit the third base attempts of a Zerg player, which is becoming really, really popular in Wings of Liberty. But in this position, if your opponent is going for it looks like a fast pool and then soon enough a fast layer, Banshees begin getting real useless. It's a Roach War. Woo! Ooh! I guess you can tell from my tone that I'm excited to cast this match. Western Wolves Morrow doing the usual double refinery even before getting anything else up. No bunker. Second Marine was not even out at that point in time. An extremely fast pair of refineries. This is going to allow him to get a very early factory. Those Hellions should pop out around 6:30, or if they're mines, the mines will pop out around 6:30. But uh-oh, did Morrow actually see? He didn't see. He did see the gas. He shouldn't be clicking on that and going, wait a minute. 200 gas has been mined? Wow, there's either some sort of crazy Ling Baneling bust coming in, or there's going to be a very, very fast layer coming in. So Morrow, in general, should be getting a little suspect. Will likely begin building more of those depots there, is stepping forward into the front, and it looks like the Roaches are en route for KatZ. But this is an odd Roach push timing, because ordinarily you build the Roaches after you go hatch first, then pool, and the gas is the last step to the equation. So it looks a lot like we're going to see KatZ go for a Roach push into a very fast layer, given that we're seeing this extractor. So it's going to allow him to transition. Oh, and it's the burrow play! Yeah! Esports! Burrow is going to allow him to apply pressure and then burrow at the front. Ordinarily in this position we would see a Terran player just holding himself up, spending all of his resources on mules to be able to get up a very fast third command center. It looks like Morrow is going to be going for Hellion Banshee to try to apply pressure. Won't be any third to exploit. He's actually going to run into a lot of problems. As this big push is coming right now, are there any Lings on the backside? Just a pair of Lings would be more than enough to pick up a couple of those kills on the mines. This is going to be pretty tough for Morrow to deal with. In fact, I'm not feeling too confident about Morrow's ability to defend this. He's going to have to get those mines out very quickly. It looks like the Roaches are stepping forward. Not a lot of damage being dealt there. Burrow not done yet. He will be microing back that single roach. He's going to start target firing SCVs, trying to pick off as many as he can. The mines will get burrowed, and it looks like Morrow will pull back with more than enough time. Layer coming up right now. Could be a transition into Roach Hydralisk. Could be a very cool transition. There it looks like no Zerglings are coming out. The mines will be able to do the temporary defense, but sending one Roach forward, getting the hit, and backing up, then burrowing. It's going to be a very nice way to heal. Can still bust down this front, but Morrow cleverly builds a single Marauder before getting into the action. Looks like some burrow tactics from WWMorroW. Meanwhile, back at the main base, Layer's finishing up at 7:30. Still a reasonably early Layer, and yes, fast Spire is going to be popping out. Again, one of the reasons why Hellion Banshee's a little bit struggleful against these sorts of fast gas plays, these emphasis on two-base plays. WWMorrow's well known for loving his low-base kookiness. Will use the limited life of this Overlord to maybe get a few shots off, but Hellions are moving out. These are not Hellbats. These are just good old standard Hellions. This pressure from Morrow might look, this pressure from WWMorroW might look like it has done essentially nothing, but keep in mind, the third command center, really the pivotal piece to the Hellion Banshee puzzle, or really the pivotal piece to any early Terran opening that involves late game, has not even gone down until now. So it's a significant delay. Nice trap with those drones. Oh, never mind, that Spire doesn't wall off. Now they're merely lining up, roasting all those drones. We'll get a few kills, but still the more important part, Spire was spotted. Instant Infestation Pit. This could be an odd transition out of WWMorroW to just abandon the Mutalisk plan and move on with some kind of swarm host, because right now there's been hardly any Hellions produced. The mines have just been constructed defensively. Morrow's now trying to get his mech play up, but essentially, WWMorroW has battered Morrow into a completely defensive set. And with that defense would be a nice time to take some expansions. Morrow just doing some Overlord hunting. WWMorrow's doing some roach containing. Kind of a cute play. Holding this control of the front. You can see mines burrowed without detection. And Missile Turret also planning down pathogen glands. Oh, huh! Kind of a funky play. Ordinarily, this would be used to do a really fast infested Terran push. Not really going to be a need for fungal growth, especially given that it's a lot weaker, but kind of cool to see Morrow not actually going for the tanks right away, going for the Thors. And the Infestors coming up, really kind of weird opening wiggling from WWMorroW, but that is as to be expected. Up in the main base, we see, look at this, 3 Mutalisks. In production, we see no more Mutalisks, so looks like Morrow's actually trying to trick WWMorroW into overbuilding the anti-air. There's 1 turret, 2, 3. We see that Widow Mines are planted around. In the grand scheme of things, that there are how many Widow Mines? 8 Widow Mines out right now. Yeesh, and those really aren't going to be used at all. More Thors being produced. Double yeesh. Really nice mind game manipulations from WWMorroW, and in a sense, you can't even really avoid dealing with this as the Terran player. If you say something like, oh well, he's likely trying to trick me, I'm not going to build anti-air, then you will 100% of the time lose to someone who does. There's the Locust now popping on out. Or actually, even more specifically, I mean, if you're WWMorroW and you walk in with just 3 Mutalisks and you see almost no anti-air, you can just add on a bunch more Mutalisks if you really think that your Terran is cutting corners. So big advantage to WWMorroW for having contained with these roaches. He's going to try to unburrow and pick off that mine. Doesn't do it in time. Hellbat mode engage. Morrow's now taking his 3rd base, but there doesn't really seem to be any sort of big attack planned as of yet. Scan to pick off the burrowed roach. Both players playing quite well. Super late on the upgrades for Morrow. Wow. You know, I talked a lot about how the 3rd base was delayed by this roach push, but I mean the delay on these armories is even more significant. Essentially means that Morrow is really not going to have any huge classic mech strength until he's maxed with 3-3 or maxed with 2-2, which is probably not going to be for another 8 minutes or so. Hellions find a completely undefended base. Where are the units? The burrow. The devastation of the burrowed units. WWMorrow's really the one missing little equation in this is, how do I deal with Hellions and Hellbats, and it looks like Morrow is just going to easily kill this off. More and more, it's starting to look like KatZ actually didn't have a good answer for this sort of counter-harass, was likely expecting to do a little bit more damage, but now that the Hellbats are turning back into Hellions and making their great escape, KatZ is looking less and less good as time goes on. Infestor tries to pop up, pick off a couple SCVs, but it's all going to come down to the use of these Swarm Hosts. Now, granted, Swarm Hosts suck at defense. They're like one of the worst defenders in the game. One of the best siege offending units in the game, though, as well. So even though KatZ sacked an expansion, Locusts are free. So the Swarm Hosts could begin engaging and pick off a lot of free units. We're starting to see them advance forward and do right now. It's all free damage. Looks like there will be a siege attempted on the left side as well. So this is kind of a weird spot for KatZ. He really has to do a lot of damage with these siege units. With the Swarm Host, is taking his expansion again. Still looking a little bit broke. Still producing a lot of Swarm Hosts. Swarm Hosts starting to advance in. A lot of damage being dealt by KatZ. He needs to... Where's the fungal? Oh, the late fungal, the scan. Oh, the humanity KatZ getting completely wrecked. This honestly looks like a strong build order gone wrong. KatZ had an opening. Clear set of transitions out of it with a couple of infestors, not to transition into mass infestors, but to do a little harass, thanks to that early burrow tech, and then transition into the Swarm Hosts. Series of transitions that make sense on paper, but really the Hellion counter harass was undefended entirely. Looks like we will see some Swarm Host micro, actually. The ability to burrow and then retreat, quite nice, but they move super slow. Move speed 2.25, unupgraded Zealot speed. Regular sentry speed. KatZ is still trying to siege in from this backside, still trying to pick off a couple of units. In the units lost tab, we see that it's really favoring Morrow by a long shot. Morrow is just smashing forward and crushing the front really easily. These cute, low on larva count armies, I mean the mass Swarm Host, it's just looking pretty icky. I mean, Morrow has all the pieces that he needs. He's actually not even waiting for 2-2 upgrades, has a huge pack of factories, quite early to have that many factories. The speed upgrade for Thors has been researched by Morrow, aka Medivacs, that are healing the Hellbats as he continues to just rampage forward. This is looking very bad for KatZ. Just atrocious. Not even any siege attempted, which might look like a lazy move or an arrogant move, but it's actually the correct move against Swarm Hosts. Swarm Hosts have to be stationary. With the unsieged siege tanks, Morrow has the advantage of being able to be more aggressive, be able to move in more places at once and simply run away from the Locusts. As KatZ main gets overrun, there's really not that much that KatZ can do. We see that there are a few Swarm Hosts on the left side, still trying to deal some damage, dealing limited hurt, but in the main base, a lot more hurt being dealt to Morrow. Morrow is just... he's in bad shape. There's only so many ways to put it. The shape that KatZ is in is bad. 2-2 upgrades coming up. Widow Mines in a reasonable position to defend against the Mutalisk that will not ever be needed. And Morrow is not even acting like he's nearly won this game. He's just continuing to add on command centers, spending his minerals. This might seem like an excess expenditure, but if you have a comfortable lead, you can down your minerals on more command centers, get those mules up to get a solid late game, but late game is completely unneeded as Morrow simply wrecks KatZ in Game 1. A creative opening from KatZ, but it's the stability and the solid timings you need to take down Morrow's mech. So, as we head into Game number 2, can KatZ pull it back, tie it up in this best of 5, or will Morrow bring the series to match point? Guys, Game number 2 is coming up right after this.